I'll pass it down to you.
Oh, it gets deep in there, nice.
Guys, you have to turn to the right. Eli, you have to turn to the right.
All right, so we've embarked on another trip here. We're on Gamble Creek. We're heading out towards Manatee River. I've got a little co-pilot helping me out. He's gonna get picked up here in about 10 minutes. And then we've got Noah with us. And we've got Eli up there, and Eli's gonna get picked up at the end of the day. Noah's gonna stay with me for the duration of the trip. So here we go, are you excited? Okay.
Bye-bye. Eli, we'll see you later. Yeah, you got one there. I don't need this orange.
Oh my god, let's go.
So one of the things we keep running into is there's not a lot of water in the creek. Keep hitting these little sandbars like this back here. Oh, it's so much work. But that's what makes for a good story, I suppose. Maybe it's clearer up ahead. I gotta catch my breath. We gotta keep up speed. I gotta make it over these sandbars. Oh man, what just happened? That's crazy. I don't know, I guess I was paddling too hard. It just snapped clean in half. Oh, this is after my mother-in-law advised me to bring an extra paddle. I didn't do it. Guess we'll have to ride with our nub here. I just got to paddle twice as much on the right-hand side as I do on the left. I don't know how far it goes up there. It doesn't feel cold enough to be a spring. You guys see the big air pineapples up there? So this really interesting thing happens with this creek about this time of day is the current actually reverses. See, we're going downstream, but the current is coming back upstream. That's happening because the tide is coming in, and you can see it's coming back in pretty quickly. So the interesting dynamic about this trip is that we're going to be dealing with tidal waters, which we never did really deal with until the very end of our last 9-day trip down the Choctawhatchee River. But right now, it's the middle of the day and the tide is coming in, so we're going downstream, but against the current. The current is actually reversing right now. So I'm actually thankful for that because here in the next 3 or 4 hours, the tide will begin to go back out. And at that point, we will be on the bigger Manatee River. And so we'll be following the tide out on the bigger river, which is good. If I'm gonna fight the incoming tide, I wanna fight it here on the small body of water, here on Gamble Creek. Oh, I got caught by the head. Got clotheslined. January the 2nd. It's a balmy 83 degrees or something like that today. So we're paddling down the Gamble Creek, trying to link up with the Manatee River. The terrain is so different down here. The vegetation and foliage is so different. So I don't know if you can see the palm trees behind me there. You know, it's just like this weird mixture of jungle, vines and palms, live oaks and Spanish moss. It's very beautiful in its own rights. It's just different than southern Alabama, the panhandle of Florida kind of stuff. But it's really cool. It feels kind of like you're in a scene of like Jurassic Park or something at times. I think one of the really cool things about this trip that we're embarking on now is the diversity of scenery that we're going to experience on this trip. So right now, like I said, we have this very uninhabited, you know, Florida scrub landscape. But here in the next few hours, actually really tomorrow morning, we're going to get into some of the most populated places on the water, where there's going to be tons and tons of houses on either side of the river. And you know, then we're gonna get out to more like a bay kind of feel, where there's gonna be open water and scattered mangrove islands. So lots of diversity in terms of scenery, and that's gonna be nice. I like that. It helps me just mentally. You know, I had a question about our prior trip, a 9-day trip down the Choctawhatchee River. Whenever we went under I-10 and we got south of I-10, there seemed to be a lot of these houseboats on the side of the river, and I filmed them all. You know, I put a lot of different clips of houseboats in there and stuff. And someone asked me, they're like, what's the deal with all those houseboats? You know, do people live in those? Were there people there? Are they completely abandoned? And those kinds of things. Those are good questions. Basically, these houseboats that were on the side of the Choctawhatchee River, and they're also on the side of like the Apalachicola River and other places like that. These houseboats are actually just fishing cabins for families, where, you know, people will come up and they'll take a boat or a canoe, you know, like up into the river and connect to their houseboat, bring a generator, bring some gasoline, some propane, some fishing gear, some food, and they'll dock right there at the houseboat, and they'll spend all weekend there fishing off of their houseboat and cleaning fish and cooking fish, just hanging out as a family. So that's what the purpose of those houseboats are. They build those. There's really no building restrictions or permits with those things, and they just tie them to a tree basically inside the river. And someone asked, you know, like, do they have to own the piece of land that they're tied to? And the answer is no. They just tie off to the side of the river on a branch or on a tree, and they don't have to own that piece of land. You know, they're just they're basically just taking the risk of leaving this houseboat out there over the weekend, or I mean, for extended periods of time. This houseboat is very unattended, and they don't keep anything valuable in them. You know, at least I don't think so. So if people were to break in there, the worst that they might be able to do is like vandalize or steal a bunch of like, you know, cooking utensils and stuff like that, which isn't really worth stealing. So that's the story on the houseboats, but I know I would love to build one myself. I'd love to have one of those things. Well, we're not going to see many of those on this trip. It's just not it's not a thing down here in this part of Florida to see houseboats like that or fishing cabins like that. There may be houseboats that people actually live out of, but not floating fishing cabins like that. Oh, we're getting out right here.
No, you should get one of those instead of a scooter.
All right, we took a quick break here. Some family members met us and brought us some enchiladas and rice. That was delicious. And we're at the Mulholland Bridge, only a mile, maybe 2 miles from our start point. We're not making very good time so far, but we're trying to get west of 75, so we gotta get back on the water. We're scaring all the fish towards you.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I need.
We just started up at the beginning of the creek.
Oh.
We're going out to Anna Maria Island.
Oh, okay.
So, y'all have a good day. What is this? I don't know. Like little maracas. That's interesting. Like seed pods. I wonder if they're edible. Secret little cove up in here, I think. Let's see if we can take a look at it here. Not sure how to get back in there just yet. That doesn't look super promising there. Let's go up one more maybe. No, maybe that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and keep paddling. What? What?
Why don't we just keep paddling?
Because I want to go explore this little island real fast. Go ahead and go on without me. If a gator gets me, I'll scream for you. I think this is the right way. Yeah, here it opens up in here. And it's kind of this cool little cove back in here that not a lot of people really know about. It's back in this cove that there's like this little hidden island. Maybe I'll put up some satellite so you can see it. Here's the island, and you can camp on this island. It's kind of cool. Here, maybe we'll just paddle around it real quick. What do you guys think? I don't know, fast forward 5 minutes if you don't want to see this island. So they have this like campsite set up in here. Super cool. Telling you, this would make a great setting for an island survival challenge video. What do you guys think? One of these days, maybe come back out. So is this the sailboat that's parked on it? Wow, look at that. It's super cool. All right, let's get back around the island, get out to the main river, and link back up with Noah. What do you guys think lives on this island? What kind of animals live out here, you think? Maybe a little family of coons or something. I don't know. An alligator or two. It's so cool that that whole little cove back in there closes down, kind of chokes down to just this little inlet right here. That's all that you can really get through. There he is. Hey! It's a cool little island back in there. And there's a wrecked sailboat on the other side of the island. See all the mangrove trees? Yeah. Those are cool. Huh? Those only grow in like really salty water. My boys fly fishing. Fort Hamer Road is a really new bridge. I guess just 4 or 5 years old if I had to guess. But one of the first times I paddled this, actually the very first time I paddled this stretch, was with Stacy. We were just dating at the time, and we did it with a aluminum canoe. There was no bridge. That house wasn't there. That golf course wasn't there. Just all woods on either side. Things have changed a lot. All right, well, unfortunately, Noah is ditching the trip. He's just not feeling well. He's really worn out and feeling a little bit weak. I think just the combination of paddling against the current, against the tide coming in, and then the headwind against us really wore us out. I'm pretty worn out. I mean, it's been only 5 or 6 miles we put in today, but my arms are already feeling it. So I'm gonna go another hour downstream and find a little island to camp on, and then I'll check in with you guys there. So here we go. Into the sunset. So I've got about an hour of sunlight left before I need to really pull up and get a camp spot. Ideally, I have 15-20 minutes of sunlight left to set up camp and everything. I've been paddling really hard into this wind and just really tuckering myself out. But there's a really interesting place up here. I saw it when I flew the drone over it. It looks like some kind of abandoned structure. I'm gonna try to find it here in the tree line and take you to it. And maybe we can explore just a little bit with what little daylight we have left. So there were no trespassing signs. I didn't feel comfortable going in there and breaking the law right now. So what I'm gonna do is hover the drone over it, put some B-roll footage in it, and you can see from the aerial what this structure looks like. And maybe if you have any information on what this thing used to be, maybe put it in the comments below. I have no idea what this was. Maybe like an old gambling joint or something like that. Who knows? But anyways, we paddle on Manatee River. So this island coming up right here on the other side of this boat is probably going to be home for the night. I need to get around the other side of it and see what it looks like on the other side. It looked kind of promising over there, but we'll see. Right now, there's no way that I can camp in there. There comes a boat in fast. So some pretty good wake. We actually, we may need to turn into the wake here and cut through it. Let me see. We might be able to ride it. It's kind of fun. So anyways, this island does not look as promising as I thought. Big waves rolling in. Let's see what the backside over here looks like. If it looks any more promising than all this mangrove, buttonwood stuff. Island was no-go, which is unfortunate because it's kind of one of the last stretches of uncivilized water here. Now we're gonna get into where there's a lot of homes and stuff, but looking at the satellite, that's one of my best friends out here, is to see where to sleep at night. That's the biggest challenge. One of the things I always look for, it's a telltale sign that it's high ground and you can camp on it, is something like pine trees or palm trees. That tells me that there's well-established earth there, whereas behind me, this mangrove island that I just passed, that I was hoping to sleep on, it has none of that, if you can see in the distance. It just has, you know, just flat mangroves. It tells me there's not a lot of good substantial ground there. It's all just marsh, basically, so you can't camp in there. And plus, even to try to get into that island, it'd be a nightmare trying to get through those mangrove roots and stuff. So anyways, so like here's a spot. Maybe you see this live oak over here, right there, and there's like a palm tree. I might need to go scope that out and see if that's doable. That tells me that there's some higher ground right there, and I might be able to sleep on that spot. But that's kind of half the adventure, I suppose, is not knowing where you're going to sleep at night, being out here. And the sun's setting, so here's some more spots over here if push comes to shove. But the sun's setting, and you know, it's kind of this anxious feeling, but at the same time, it's kind of fun in a weird way. Stick around, we'll find a spot. Example of how it looks like there's high ground right through there, but there's just no getting through those mangroves. It is just impenetrable, but there could potentially be high ground back in there. I just can't access it. So, actually, you know what? That looks pretty marshy all the way through. So we're gonna keep looking. Keep looking it is. You can actually hear the electricity flowing through those wires. That's quite terrifying. Manatee zone. It'd be cool to see a manatee. This is about the last spot here I'm going to check out before it gets dark. If these trees do not render me a good camp spot, and I don't know what else to do except to keep paddling into the night. And unfortunately, from this point forward, civilization is just gonna cave in on the river, and there's gonna be nothing but houses and buildings on either side of the river. So unless I snuggle up with some homeless guy under a railroad track, I don't know that I'm gonna find a camping spot past this point. So this is it. Pray that this works out. That way I have a little bit of daylight to set up camp. Ugh. Look at this clearing cut into the mangroves here. Nobody's here. Oh, wow. Oh. Getting washed up here. Oh, splashing over the back of the boat. Oh, wow. Check this place out. Let's get out of here and see what we got. Flip-flops. Deploy flip-flops. Wow. This is quite the place. Very interesting. Check this joint out. Comes equipped with its own rope lights here. And a rake. need a bucket. I don't know what anyone would use a bucket for. I'm just kidding. Man, it's like crisscross with trails and stuff. What do you guys think is in the bucket? What do you think is in the bucket? A big fat, nope, just nothing. Wow. Yeah, there's like, looks like another toilet back in here. Okay. And toilet paper. Check it out. So, this island has all the essentials. It's got 2 toilets to choose from. It's got good level ground up off the water. The creepy factor is a solid 7. It's got rope lights strung about. Yeah, I think this will work. I might do the tent here. Fire here where it looks like one has already been had. And yeah. But hey, there's like an abandoned house straight across over there. What if I take my last few minutes of sunlight and do you guys a solid and fly the drone over there and see if someone's living in it? Would you like me to do that? We're gonna do that. It was a successful drone flight, but I didn't see any signs of life over there in that abandoned camp. I don't know what you would call it, but some kind of shack. I don't know. But what did you guys see in there that you thought was interesting? Put it in the comments below and let me know. Maybe you know someone who built this. I don't know. But anyways, it was cool to fly the drone over there before it got dark and kind of check it out a little bit. It would have been really crazy to see like a guy like run out of there with like a shotgun or something, right? Take some shots at the drone. But none of that, I suppose. Maybe it's just an old camp where people just come out on the weekends or something. But the no-see-ums are now laughing at this neem oil that I've put all over me, so I'm having to retreat pretty quickly into the tent and get out of here. But yeah, I'm gonna pack this all up, throw a bunch of bedding into the tent real fast, zip it back up, and yeah, maybe do like a phone call with the family or something. So, well guys, this has been a day on the water. It's been an interesting one. It started off at Gamble Creek, way upstream in Gamble Creek, about 3 or 4 miles upstream, about 5 log jams, pulling over sandbars, that sort of thing, now to like this open water in the Manatee River. I think we put in, actually let me check my phone now and see how many miles I put in. So so far today I've only put in 7.5 miles, and that is a minuscule amount to what I normally put in. Normally I put in like 25 to 30 miles a day. If you've seen my prior videos, that was because we were pulling over log jams, we were paddling into the incoming tide, we were paddling into the wind. I had Eli and little Micah with me for about a mile of that. And then Noah was just feeling really weak and kind of run down and low energy about 5 miles in, so he got out back at Fort Hamer. So then I paddled another 2.5 miles and made it to this point before the sun went down. So mileage wise, not ideal, but tomorrow we'll fix that. We'll try to get as many miles as we can tomorrow. Basically, I'm going to be paddling through the middle of Bradenton and Palmetto, Florida, down the Manatee River. There's going to be sizable cities on either side of me. It's going to be something like I've never done before, and it's not my usual kind of paddling excursion. But mishaps, I mean, we had a paddle break pretty early on. My paddle just snapped off. I think it was dry rotted. It's actually my father-in-law's paddle, so I need to maybe replace it with a new one. What else did we have? Yeah, just little stuff like that. You know, just kind of slowed us down a little bit, but I made it this far and feeling good. I'm feeling energetic. I'm gonna wake up really early in the morning, pack up the camp as quickly as possible, tear all this stuff down, and get on the water before the winds start to pick up. I think that will help me put some mileage in. I'm trying to get to this little place called Gilligan's Island. I don't know what else it's called. Just the locals call it Gilligan's Island. And it is going to be a haul to get there. It's going to be pushing hard to get through that wind, get through the chop, and that open water. So we'll see. I'm going to be really worn out after tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the toughest day. And then the next day, after I wake up on that island, the next day is going to be getting to the beach, getting to Anna Maria Island. And that's only about a 3 to 5 mile trek if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. But guys, I appreciate you watching this whole day. It's been an interesting one. It's always interesting, I suppose. You never know what's around the next bend, and that's kind of the fun part of these trips. So this is our check-in for the night. I'll check in with you tomorrow morning, day 2 of our in-laws' backyard to the ocean. Hey, if you don't mind, check out some of our other videos if you like this kind of content. I'll put some cards up here, maybe. And tonight I am breaking a sweat just setting up camp here. Let me show you what the temperature is real fast. 75 degrees outside, and in here it's probably 5 degrees more. And I'm covered in neem oil, but I can't go out there in the fresh air because the mosquitoes and no-see-ums are just absolutely horrendous, chewing me up. So let me show you what's on the dinner menu for tonight. Well, for dinner tonight, I have a pack of applesauce and a tangerine. I think I've got a pack of crackers somewhere, but I can't find it right now. Anyways, I don't have the energy to actually heat up water and make anything. I'm just beat, hot, and ready to just call it a night. Florida is muggy, and you know, I don't know how people did this 150 years ago when there was no screen windows and no air conditioning. Coastal Florida is tough, and the people who settled this area a long time ago, I give them mad props, because yeah. But one of the interesting things about this area where I'm camped now is the proximity to Fort Hamer. Now, Fort Hamer is a very historic area. In the late 1800s, it is, I believe, part of the Trail of Tears. It's an extension of the Trail of Tears. It's where they would actually ship and incarcerate Seminole Indians here in Florida. And then they would ship them down this river and out to Egmont Key, and from Egmont Key up to the Mississippi River, and from Mississippi River up into whatever reservation they wanted to put them. So this is kind of a piece of history here that we're camping on tonight, not far from the original spot of the old Fort Hamer. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I believe there was a person who ate glass or swallowed glass. He was a Seminole Indian who swallowed glass so that he wouldn't leave his homeland. He committed suicide that way. Maybe I'll put some B-roll in there so you can see it. I can't quite remember. It's been years since I've studied it. I took a Florida history class in college, and it's very interesting, very interesting. But all right, guys, I want to say thank you to everyone watching and new and old subscribers. I appreciate you making this possible for me to do trips like this, and kind of a glutton for punishment, I suppose, but it's fun. I get out here and do this crazy stuff, so maybe you don't have to, and you can live vicariously through me. But anyways, have a wonderful day. We'll see you morning of day 2.